Okay, guys, great to see so many people eager to know how to make it on Instagram in 2024. Thank you all for being here. And I must say, I'll be talking about my favorite subjects because I've been on Instagram for over 10 years now. And I've seen the whole transformation, how it happened throughout the years. How it started with just photos and how stories came to the fore and also Instagram lives and now reels are the order of the day. So today I want to talk to you about what do we do this year? Has anything changed? Are there any solutions to building your audience, to growing your Instagram? And if you've ever been to any of my talks, I'm a person who loves to have a conversation. So please don't expect to have like a proper presentation for 45 minutes. I want to have a conversation and answer the questions that you have. And I'm sure if you are here, you have plenty of them. I also brought someone with me. This is my right hand. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, actually, can you raise your hand if you follow me on Instagram? Okay, so some of you know my content and they see my daily updates. So Ksenia Usacheva is my photographer. She is the person who makes it all happen with me when I'm at exhibitions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ksenia. I'm a visual artist, Paris-based. I do fashion and jewelry photographer, and behind most of the Katerina's content, so that will be me.
Because these days, I'm sure you know that Reels are the most important part of Instagram. And frankly, it's really challenging and sometimes impossible to film everything yourself. So here I have Ksenia that helps me at exhibitions. But before we go to the presentation, because I've seen that some of you don't know me yet, maybe see me for the first time, my name is Katerina Perez. I'm a jewelry writer, influencer, public speaker, consultant. I've started my work about 12 years ago, specifically online, to educate different people about jewelry, because I come from retail, and I remember clients of mine coming to the boutique and saying, oh, how many carats is this ring, and what's the price? And if you guys are jewelers, you understand it's not just about carat weight when it comes to price. So I wanted to really explain what it's all about. So I started my website, katerinaperez.com, and Instagram to support the website. However, with the way information is consumed these days, which is short span of willingness to learn something, people mostly go to Instagram to learn things fast, to see things, to like the picture or video, to read the caption, and they go next. So I started my Instagram, as I said in the beginning, many years ago when it was just pictures and text, and now we see how it's changed. I've currently gained 433,000 followers, and one day there was 5,000 on my Instagram, and I was thinking, wow, this is so amazing. So I've received several awards. I've been featured in different magazines. I've contributed to various magazines. So my specialty comes from knowing jewelry, working in retail, doing gemology courses, learning on the job. And today I wanted to split this talk in several parts. So the first part, I will talk to you about what I feel is working on Instagram, how I make it happen, to share a little bit of my expertise. And then I'll go to the part of most asked questions, and then you'll have a chance to ask questions as well. And Ksenia, if at any point you want to...
Sure, I'm going to ask some questions.
Yeah, add something, please do. Okay. So when I started Instagram, it was very easy. There were pictures, so I equipped myself with the camera, and I tried to first take pictures on my phone, then with the professional camera. I'm not a jewelry photographer, nowhere near that, but I've learned how to use equipment. And nowadays, I believe that it's good to have a camera phone, and it will give you a good result, but you actually need to know how to achieve that. You have to know how to put the settings on your phone, how to use external light. Actually, Ksenia, I'm going to let you say a few words. How do we do these wonderful pictures and videos? What do we use?
So first of all, we use the light, some external light that would work for camera and for your iPhone as well. So we also would need a reflector. That is some kind of... Do you want
like
me to...
what? Actually,
yeah.
let's do...
Want me to show
We're going to
this?
demonstrate you, okay? So you can equip yourself also with extra tools.
So there will be just very simple video light that works like this. So for sure, it's going to help you to add some luminosity to your pictures and to the jewelry so they don't look dark. And then in case if it's not enough, or you can use few sources of light like this, if it's not enough, in that case we would need a reflector.
Oh my God. So the extra light doesn't only give you more light for the photo or the video, but also more sparkle to jewelry. And then
So in that case, you would use a reflector as well that helps to reflect the light.
Yeah, but normally we use the white one. There is it comes in 3 different ways. There is a gold one, white one,
and the silver one. Yeah, exactly.
And these things you can buy on Amazon. This is very easy. That will really improve the quality of your content. And actually, why am I showing you this? Because I've learned throughout the years that content is what people come to see you for, to your Instagram. Never mind if you're a jewelry influencer like myself, if you are a brand, if you are a person who loves to talk about gemstones or a gem dealer. So the quality of your picture is paramount because this is how people perceive information on Instagram. First, they see the picture or the video, and then they go and read captions and so on.
I would just add maybe the quality is important, but also the creative idea is quite important as well. So that's what helps to pop up your picture out of the feed of all other people on Instagram.
10 years ago when I started, there were only, well, not few jewelry brands and gemstone dealers, but a smaller, much smaller number. Nowadays, why did Ksenia say it's important to have content which is catching your eye, which is different from others? Why it's important to stand out? Because there's a huge pool of brands out there, and you need to grab attention of that person who's looking at your Instagram fast. So this is why I put first and foremost, right now, it's engaging content. How do I create that engaging content? I grab ideas, how to create reel, which can be different. Yes, you can show jewelry if you're a jewelry designer or gemstones, a gem dealer. But on Instagram nowadays, what's trending? Transitions, different ways of playing with the speed of the video, different ways of changing the different shots, adding some text to the picture. So there are so many ways to be creative, and you have to really explore your creativity, because if you just show a simple video, often it's beautiful if the jewel is beautiful, but it doesn't grab attention and people don't watch the video from start to end, or they won't open the caption to read it. So there is ways to educate yourself how to create engaging videos. What I do is I grab ideas from other medias, from other industries, and sometimes translate them into jewelry. I have a separate account, which is my personal, where I don't follow jewelry, I follow, I don't know, celebrities, cats, or different fashion, exactly, photographers. And sometimes I see a very interesting reel that then I can translate into a jewelry style which works for me. And that helps me to keep the ideas fresh. So you don't copy, but you get inspiration from other industries. So one is engaging content. Second is personal presence. I've learned over a period of time that being there, showing the face, who is the face of the company, or not necessarily the face, but having the expert knowledge which you share on your Instagram, this is very important. Because people don't come to Instagram just to see a picture. They come to connect to the other person. This is what social media is about. If they want to buy something from you, jewelry, gemstones, people are buying from other people on Instagram. They are not so comfortable buying from a soulless brand. I mean, with time it will happen, but there is more connection and more trust and more bond between one person and the designer, a person and an influencer. When I was thinking like how to call what I do, right, my website, I instantly thought, okay, this is my jewelry journey, this is my views, my expert knowledge. I just put my name on it because I didn't want it to be a jewelry blog or anything else. So with time, it really paid off because now I'm also a brand. It's my personal brand, but it really works because people know who is behind my Instagram account, who is going to see all this jewelry, who is communicating on it. So for yourself, it's also very important to not just focus on jewelry, but also show your expertise. You're all experts in jewelry. You can share so much knowledge with your audience. The audience doesn't come to you just for buying jewelry. They don't want to see picture after picture after picture of we have this in stock or that in stock. They want to see what you bring to the table in terms of knowledge, entertainment, different ideas, what's going on behind the scenes, what's happening in your company. Because they're following you also to see the progression of the brand, of where are you traveling? Are you at an Argenta looking for stones? Are you thinking of new designs? What's going on? And I want to know, actually, do you do this already? Do you share behind the scenes on your social media? If you're a jeweler, will you raise your hand if you do? Perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, so people can see the life of your company. Now, next one. Constantly engaging with community. I often consult brands on their social media, and when I go to the account, this is one of the first things that I look at. Do they actually respond to their comments? Do they try to communicate with the audience through some questions in the captions? How proactive are they to respond to their direct messages? Because here it's a social media, right? People come here to look, but also to converse, to exchange ideas, to communicate. So that's why it's so important to show appreciation to your audience through comments. I'm probably one crazy blogger who actually does take time to reply to all the comments, because I see my Instagram as a, let's call it a soiree, a little party, and people, my guests, come in there to talk to me, and I can't be rude to not talk to them back. So I have to even put a little emoji or say thank you. If they made an effort to communicate with me, I would love to show them my attention and that I appreciate that they're here. And this is how over these 10 years I've built a very strong following and loyal followers. You know, some people stay with me for many, many years, 5, 6 years and more. It's through communication in comments, but also in direct messages. I'm very active. It's me who responds to my direct messages. People don't believe sometimes, but even with high following, it's important for me to have, I don't like to call people on my Instagram followers. I prefer to call them my community. So this is how you need to see your audience. This is your community. This is not just your potential clients. This is your friends. This is the loyal audience who is there with you. So show them love when they show it to you. Variety and consistency in posting. Have you guys thought that in your content, you, of course, as a business owner, you have to share posts which showcase your latest collections, I don't know, discounts maybe, or anything related to sales. But as I said just now, people do not come to you for buying. And even if it's your client, they don't want to always see only content related to them making a potential purchase. What they want to see, though, they want to be entertained, right? How we do entertaining in jewelry. We can have some, I don't know, interesting information like a storytelling time when you tell a funny story from your career. People love stories. This is, again, I wouldn't say it's a trend for this year. It's a trend that started already in 2023, sharing stories, sharing some, I don't know, behind the scenes, things that they wouldn't learn if they haven't followed you. You can entertain them by different questions in your captions, you know, please help me to come up with the name of this collection or this piece. Or do you like this stone I chose for this ring? You know, what stone would you have put in it? The idea is endless, you know, here.
Yeah, I think it's like personal touch. When the people buy jewelry, also there is a story behind the jewelry. The same on Instagram, they want to see the story, maybe from the idea to the creation, all the steps, and that's why they would follow it.
Exactly. And through stories, again, you build this bond with your audience. They see your human side, or with the brand, they see more kind of, they can relate more, right? So stories are important. So we have entertainment, information. People come to you to learn as well. You know, I remember even from my retail years, my favorite part of selling was explaining, telling stories about, I don't know, what's this emerald? Why is it so special? What's the difference between, I don't know, Colombian, Zambian, and emerald? Educate, inspire. And then the client, oh, okay. When they understand what they're looking at better, they feel more comfortable buying it, because with jewelry, it's an expensive purchase, right? And you want to know that you're making the right choice in buying a piece of jewelry. So giving extra explanation. You can talk about, you know, different stones, right? What blue stones exist there? How to choose the right diamond for you. There's so many different things you can talk about, because you're all...
Just simply the idea behind, because they also buy a dream, so they buy a symbol for them, some kind of totem, I don't know. It's something that also the creative idea behind every jewelry.
Exactly. But then another thing which is important, sometimes they just want to see. So in my work, one of the things which makes me stand out from other jewelry influencers is I like to have creative photo shoots. And often we do it together. When you showcase jewelry in an unconventional way, showcasing, not trying to sell something, but more showcasing creativity, because on Instagram, interesting picture, unusual picture, it catches the eye. And what happens is, this is all strategic thinking. So when you have content which is interesting and people start commenting and liking it, this part of the algorithm hasn't changed at all, so it's still there. So if it catches their attention, they like to interact with the content, Instagram obviously will push this content to more people, and not just to your audience, but also to people who don't follow you yet. And this is the audience you want to reach. So those people like it, then start sharing it with their friends, maybe they repost it in a story. The more activity happens with your content, the more chance that it will go viral and get you lots of new followers, get you likes and comments and potential leads as well, requests to buy your jewelry. So don't think of jewelry that it has to be more traditional, classical, in a very catalog style way. You can show it in so many cool and expressive ways. And this way will help you to stand out from all the content we see there. There's plenty of jewelry on Instagram, so the idea here is to make sure there is a way to stand out. And actually, guys, question for you. Has any of you tried to use AI? Pictures which are generated with AI. We have one hand, 2, 3. Okay.
I did.
Tell us about your experience, because frankly, occasionally I share some AI images and they always get so much attention just because they look super crisp, sharp, very juicy colors, and an unusual composition.
I think it's something new, it's a dreamlike, and it's maybe surreal, and something that we are not used to seeing every day. So the image that pops out of all the feed, that's why.
And I've seen actually designs made with AI. I've seen how AI merges jewelry with flowers, birds, and nature, or anything that's completely not related to jewelry. I don't know. I even saw one artist, AR artist, who created a picture of a house all embellished with gemstones. This looks or sounds strange, but this is what gets attention of people, makes them talk, and this is what makes content go viral. And why not? Why not to explore your creativity and showcase that you are not here just to show your collections, but also to show that you are unique and you have your own vision, your ethos, your philosophy. Next one, prior planning. You know, there is a lot going on Instagram. It's very difficult to create content in a very quick manner. If you're a business owner, of course, for you, planning is key. And there is different tools that Instagram offers, but also some external tools. Personally, I use an application which is called Iconosquare. I always talk about it because I've been using it through many years. And the reason why I prefer that one is because, yes, it allows you to schedule all your content in advance, but also it's a place where you can store all your data. You know, how many times do we take a nice photo on our phone or a video and we're like, okay, we need to share it later, we need to share later. Then we forget, then we scroll endlessly through our phone, not being able to find that picture. So what you do when you have that picture that you want to share later, you just upload it on that app, and it's there waiting for the right time to be published. It also gives you tools like AI caption writing. Sometimes it really is helpful when you, I don't know, wake up and you don't feel inspired in the morning and you need to post. What do? You can use a bit of AI help to generate an interesting type of caption. You can also use that tool for hashtag population and so on. So do check it out. It's called Iconosquare. And as I said, if you're a business owner, planning your feed in advance is the key, because this way you can think of ideas how to synchronize your stories with your posts. You'll never have a day when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to post, because everything will be pre-planned. You don't have to think about it every day, especially if you don't have a social media manager. If you are the person who runs your business A to Z, you'll be able to dedicate 2 days a month for creating your planning for the whole month, and then just post, because actually this app will also prompt you when it's time to post. So it's a brilliant personal assistant when it comes to Instagram. Okay? And then, of course, monitoring success of your post, monitoring analytics. Instagram has great tools for you to see what are your best performing posts. Iconosquare has this tool. Why do you need to do that? Because you have to repeat your success. There is nothing wrong with sometimes repurposing content, meaning that if a picture or video did really well, you can post it again, I don't know, 6-7 months later as a throwback Thursday or any other reason. But people who saw it 6 months ago, it's not going to be the same audience who will see it 6 months later. So there is nothing wrong to sometimes repost the same piece of content that performed well. I do it in a way that every year, in the beginning of every year, I do my top 9 or top 12. And what it does, it actually builds great awareness of your Instagram page. So if you post your most popular images and videos in a short period of time, your Instagram grows pretty fast in that short period of time. you gain audience, you gain lots of content that really works. And also, when you are celebrating New Year and you want to rest for first few days of the year, you don't have to create special content, you repurpose what you already have. And then growing your audience. My team and I, we invest a lot of money into targeted advertisements because, frankly, since the algorithm has changed and Reels came to the fore, it's much, much harder to have organic growth and to have organic reach. So what we do, especially if we want to emphasize on certain posts, say I'm at an Argenta and I want to reach more audience here, I would post first one of my pieces of content, and then a few days later, once it's been shown to my organic audience, then I would boost it, either through application or through Facebook Cabinet. Guys, do you know how to use Facebook Suite? Have you used it before? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, one person, 2, 3, okay. I'm not surprised. Okay, it's a much more complex tool. It gives you better results than promoting through app itself, but you have to really know how to use it. So I'm not going to get into details, but if you have a social media in your team, social media manager, do advise them to look into this way of promoting your account. All right. Now, throughout these years, also I worked out a formula for success, as I call it. And I thought I'll put it as 4 C's because we can all relate to that, right? It's easier to remember. So there is 4 elements to this formula, which will help you to run Instagram in a way that it will really work for you. The trick is, if you remove one of parts of this formula, then it won't work at full potential. So unfortunately, Instagram is a job, and you have to put a lot of effort into it. In my team, there are several people who work on making my Instagram work, apart from myself. In your teams, if you haven't got a social media manager yet, I would strongly recommend you invest into one. Now, what are those things which I put into this formula? The first C is consistency. If you share content every now and then, when you feel like it, once a week or something, I've seen this happening quite a number of times, you will not have your account growing fast enough. So the way it works is that the more you post, the faster your Instagram goes. Obviously, I'm not encouraging you to post 10 times a day, but maybe 4 times at least, 4 times a week is the good pace for a brand to continue growing on Instagram. If you post once, twice a week, your Instagram will stagnate. So the audience will not grow fast enough because you just don't show enough activity on Instagram. So post 3 to 4 times a week and both feed and stories. And the formula is that you post 3 times a week, say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you post in the feed. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you post in your stories. This way, there is always some activity going on, and the person who came to your Instagram and hasn't seen anything in the feed, at least they can enjoy something in stories. Consistency in talking to your audience as well, because obviously those who feel appreciated on your account, they want to come back and see more. And if they see you engaging, they'll feel more comfortable actually asking you questions, and valid questions like how much is this piece and how can I order from you, and anything related to sale. For consistency, you will use scheduling tools. You actually do you use already some planning tools? Do you use like Later or Plannerly or anything? Raise your hand if you plan your content in advance. Okay, I hope that next year I'll be sitting here and all of you guys who came here and heard my recommendation, please pre-plan, you'll raise your hand next year. Because it's so important, and I can't emphasize enough how much pressure it will take off your shoulders to really spend those 2 days, okay, maybe 3 days, or 2 days every 2 weeks to pre-plan everything, do the caption, do the hashtags, and then you dedicate all your time to sales and creating new collections or whatever else you need to do in the company. It's a lifesaver, okay? So consistency, regular posting, regular communication. Instagram likes it when you open the application, when you look through your DMs, and when you actually use it. Second one is content quality. There is lots of different accounts, and jewelry is shown in so many different ways. Sometimes just through an iPhone video, sometimes a professional photo shoot done in the studio. I'm a person who has always been very focused on quality, because I believe that when jewelry spend months, sometimes years, to create a piece of jewelry, I have to show well, in a way, respect to it. So that's why, for me, it's not enough just to film something quickly with the light conditions which there are. That's why Ksenia and I will always have the tools which we show to you. And this is shooting outside the studio. If it's a studio, can you tell us a little bit about the setup in the studio?
Well, the setup in the studio can be very simple if we do some kind of catalog pictures, but in case of creative photo shoot, maybe for solid, first we need a lot of props. It depends of what, let's say like this, when I work with a jewelry company, usually they just tell me the concept, we kind of try to figure out the concept behind each photo shoot together. So then I would prepare the props, then we're gonna build the setup, and maybe during the day it can take just five pictures, because every picture takes around 2-3 hours to set up the light, and then also post-production, etc., etc.
Okay. But obviously, when we talk about how the photos need to be made, it all depends on your personal style. Because both ways work. Sometimes a brand wants to have really polished, super high-end photos, and they work equally well if you just share some iPhone pictures. The key thing is not to mix them up, so this doesn't look good when you post some professional photos, some of your iPhone quick videos. It has to be consistent style, going back to consistency. But both work for different audience. It all comes to the point, what kind of message you want to tell to your audience, what kind of personality you are, and what kind of budget you have. Because, as Ksenia said, it takes one full day to create 5, well, sometimes 10, sometimes 15 photos, depending on the complexity of the shoot. But shooting professionally in a studio, it's much more costly.
Of course, it takes much more time. It's more, let's say, it's more complex photo shoot than you just do on your iPhone, on your camera, maybe with a daylight, for sure.
And also it requires investment, right? In the model,
Exactly.
makeup artist, props, and so on. Okay.
Well, if you want a high-quality result, for sure there should be a team behind as well.
Then also, when we talk about quality content, I'm not referring here only to the quality of the picture, but also quality of information or what you're trying to share. And again, I want to repeat myself that it's important to have a mix of different types of content. Some informative posts, some educational, some entertaining, some selling. So you can also mix reels and pictures on your feed. This is working really well. Even though reels are like the most important thing of Instagram now, and Instagram does promote reels, it equally is a photo platform. And when you share carousels, when I share carousels, they work equally well, and sometimes even better. So the key thing is to have balance and a bit of both. Some reels, some single posts, and some carousel images. And stories, of course. So it has to be done all with the right balance. Okay. And one thing also here I want to add is that I feel that often if you're a jewelry designer, if you're a brand, often you think, okay, so what shall I post next? Thinking, what do you want to share with your audience? Rather than thinking, what does this audience that I have here wants to see? What I'm trying to say here is that when we only think what's new, what we want to show, what we want to communicate to the audience, our Instagram turns more into a catalog, showing new designs, showing current collections, maybe some sales, some, I don't know, guides for shopping, special events, and so on. But actually, what does the audience want to see when they come to Instagram? They want to see the person behind the brand. They want to see what you're working on. They want to see what's so special about maybe
Personal
some
touch.
design.
Yeah.
Personal touch, exactly. So, and this will touch on it in the, I think, next point. No, the point after this one. Community is the third C. I've already spent time explaining how important it is to communicate with your audience and build a community rather than following. And here you can do it, of course, through communicating in DMs and in comments and so on, but also through thinking, okay, how can I educate my audience? How can I make them feel more connected with me and trust my word, like what I try to explain them here about jewelry? How can I show them my human touch, my personality, why I create designs in this or that way? How can I communicate about my brand values and my ethos and my philosophy? So all of this helps to create the strong bond with your community and make them stay with you. Because frankly, with reels and with beautiful photos, it's not so hard to gain good audience, but what's the hardest is to retain it. You know, someone can press the follow button, but they can unfollow in a few days. So what can you do to make sure they don't do it? Okay. And then the last C is character. As I said, there are so many Instagram accounts out there. How can you stand out? So you can stand out if you're a brand. Of course, it's your brand colors, it's the fonts that's specific for this brand, it's certain styling, maybe it's a face of the company, a model or the owner, the designer, and so on. Character is also showing your uniqueness, your knowledge, your personal touch, and so on. So as I said, if you, for example, have an account where you engage with the audience, the pictures are beautiful, you keep the 3 C's and you forget about the character, then you become just another jewelry brand that has diamond jewelry or precious stones and so on. If you have 4 C's but forget about community and communicating with your audience, then people come and see there is no real comment, or people don't really, or you don't reply to your audience comments. They don't feel encouraged to comment or even to ask you questions. They would feel that this account is like a ghost account, abandoned, or it's a display where no one wants to communicate with me, so why would I talk to that person, right? If we remove quality, you know what's going to happen.
Work, right?
Yeah, I mean, it might work for certain audience when you have a blurry picture or maybe quickly shot where the light is off, I don't know, the manicure is not done, but, you know, it's it might not be showing your jewelry in the best possible way, so that's all I want to say. And if you remove consistency, then your Instagram doesn't grow fast enough, then you don't see the result, and in the end you get discouraged and give up and say, oh, Instagram doesn't work for me. So, as I said, you remove one of these and unfortunately, you don't get the full potential of your account. Now, I've got most common questions here because, frankly, I do a lot of public speaking about Instagram and about social media. And I've gathered questions which I often get asked, and I felt like maybe you would be also asking the same questions. There is only like 5 of them. So while you're thinking of your questions, I'm going to answer the most popular questions for you. Now, what's the first one?
Well, let me ask you some questions. You covered most of them, but since Instagram is concentrating on Reels, do you think we should post only Reels on Instagram?
So I think I did mention that before, that it's about balance, right? It's about having Reels with carousels and with single photos. And what I feel works for me, I'll give you one little tip, little secret. When I share a carousel of images, say 9 or 10 images, and I add one video in it, but short video, between maybe 5 and 10 seconds, then somehow, every time, this type of post works really well for me. So not a reel style, but it's a carousel of images with one video, a very short video, somewhere in between, and then it really works. But also because I told you, right, that I use different tools to promote certain content. And I find that when it's a single photo, you can promote only single photos to gain, what is my team calling it? To gain more audience, I think. So there is different content works in different ways for promotion. This is why it's important also to have a variety of it.
Okay. Next question. So if I have some pictures professionally done, and there are some pictures that I shot with my phone, do you think we can mix them together?
Yes, you can, but in a way that in your feed you share only one style of photos, either professional, well, most likely it will be the professional photos, but in your stories you can share your iPhone pictures and in the moment, because this is the place which creates excitement and fear of missing out, right? Because the story disappears in a day, so you really want to know, oh my God, what's happening with this company? And that's a good way to actually make this account more approachable and more kind of human, rather than only sharing professional content.
Okay, share with us some application that you use for helping you on Instagram.
Okay, so one I told about, yeah, Iconosquare. For your Reels, guys, there is CapCut or VN. VN is Victory November, VN, and CapCut. They are much more powerful than Instagram itself. They will help you to, well, change so many things, but also, most importantly, smoothen the skin, which we all need.
Add some filters and to perfect the... Exactly.
Alter the color if it's a bit dark, you know, the intensity of color. It's like a photo, but you can work a lot with it on the video as well. So planning to
I also use Splice for the
Splice.
reels. It's a good application.
Do you guys create your reels in an app or in Instagram? Do you use app to create your reels? Majority. Honestly, Instagram loves it when you create a reel directly in the application. But frankly, I don't know how you feel, but it's very hard to use. It's still a bit not very user-friendly. So I personally always work in an outside application. Okay.
So what is the frequency of the post on Instagram?
Huh. Like the most
You already
popular
kind of
question.
mentioned it, but
Yeah. So, well, personally, I post twice a day because I have so much content that I want to share. There's so much beautiful
too many
jewelry
beautiful
there.
jewelry.
Too much. Yeah, you guys go here. Everyone has something very special. But for a company, I recommend 5 times a week is a very good pace. 5 to 6 times a week. But I understand that
Is there a special time to post?
now this, you know what? In the past, there was. In present, I feel like it doesn't depend on time, but it more depends on the type of content. Because as I said, when people start picking up on it fast, it goes viral. Even if you post at your best time to post, if the content is not engaging enough, people don't interact with it, then it's gonna be a flop.
Okay.
But if you feel there is best time to post, stick to it. I tend to post 2 times a day. One in the morning for the audience in Asia and a bit of Europe, in the evening more for America and also some audience from Europe, so like this, to reach people from all over the world. For you guys, you need to think, where is your target audience, right? Where is your company based? Who is the audience that you're trying to reach most of all? And that will dictate when you need to post.
Okay. Well, next question. You were talking about personal brand on the Instagram account. But for the people who are not, let's say, feel comfortable to show their faces on their account, is there some kind of way to add a personal touch to the page?
Your knowledge and expertise will be your personal touch, and that's something which will make you stand out from other accounts. You don't have to show your face. You can show your hands. I don't know, you're sorting gemstones or you are designing something. You can share some pictures maybe taken from the back that you're working on this or that piece of jewelry. I saw some accounts where they use, let's call it like branded elements. Like I remember there is this one gem dealer who has different color shoes, and every time he has a different color gemstone, he uses, he has his shoes.
Yeah, it's like
in the
personal
picture.
identity of an artist. So you find
exactly.
your way to sell the jewelry, and then everybody gonna remember you for this kind of personal touch.
Yeah, some people have like a little tattoo on their hand. Other people have certain type of bracelets that they always wear when they show jewelry. And that helps to, after a while, when you see this again and again, then you're like, oh, okay, that's that person. So I think this is the last one.
Yeah. What do you
I
think? What
of
do you
AI?
think about artificial intelligence on Instagram?
Well, we have to embrace it because this is the future. We can't change that. As I said, AI can help a lot in generating very interesting content which will get your audience talking. AI helps a lot with, you know, I appreciate I'm a writer. I have writers in my team, but not all of you enjoy writing or can write very well. So here, okay, ChatGPT, who everyone talks about, why not? It will help you to generate a caption. Of course, then you have to rewrite it to make it a little bit more you. But I heard, okay, I haven't tried it yet, but I heard that you can even start writing in your style and then tell ChatGPT, write it in Katerina Perez style.
For sure, it's our future.
So, exactly. So you have to explore these tools. There's lots of very good AI apps that help you to create reels faster, to create stories faster. And nowadays, the biggest issue, well, for me, is that social media is becoming too quick. You know, reels is like a mini film, right? In the past, we appreciated how long it takes to create a mini film. Nowadays, you have to do it fast with all the transitions, with all the cool features and so on and so forth. So you have to be very efficient and work 10 times faster than before. So that's why, you know, it's important to embrace all the tools that AI has to offer there.
What do you think for the reels? How long it should be the best recipe?
Best recipe for reels. Okay, so it depends. If it's a storytelling one, I feel that never mind if it's long, like sometimes my reels are 50 seconds, people still watch them because they find the story interesting. If you want to really grab someone's attention, 3, 5, 7 second reels very fast they work. And the reason why they work is because if people see this short reel and it automatically plays again and again, which normally happens because if you see something for such a short period of time, they want to see it again, to actually look into details and to like, did I see everything I need to see in this reel? So what happens is Instagram takes it as an interesting piece of content because you watched it several times. And then obviously it promotes it to a wider audience, so more people see it. But I try to, when I create my content, I don't care too much about like the short ones. I prefer to actually show the details of the jewelry and say what I want to say and educate rather than just create content that works for Instagram specifically. So, but that's my thing. Guys, I would love to, we have like 4 or 5 minutes left, so I would love to answer some questions if there are in the audience. I hope there are some.
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for your great talk. Thank you.
Thank you.